Yeah, I mean, we edit all this stuff out, whenever.
Fantastic.
We can talk.
All
We can
right.
talk 15 more minutes.
Let's just go ahead and get into it. All right. Hey, 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 backloggers. It's me, the skinny man in Texas, along with some of the finest backloggers on either side of the Mississippi. We're here to break down how our backlogs are going, what we've been playing, and what we hope to be playing next. I hope you like big backlogs and you cannot lie. We also have a special segment conjured up by the trashiest of turkeys, who gave all of us backloggers an extra special challenge. As always, thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoy this episode as much as we liked making it. Jeremy and Mike, cue the theme music.
In a world filled with games, one team of elite gamers comes together to do the impossible. Complete their backlogs. Starring Grouchy Surge, Ryan Mathman Craig, Patrick the Backlog Odyssey, Mike Blaze Knight Grinnell, and featuring Jeremy the Trash Turkey. When this team of elite gamers comes together, they form the ultimate combo, the Backlog Busters! Coming soon to a podcast near you.
That was awesome. That was awesome, Ryan.
I know that, Ken. We miss Grouchy for sure.
Yeah, it's a hole in our heart that is oddly shaped that we cannot fit anything else in that will satisfy. That's not quite.
So
quite
Grouchy is a Snickers bar? We have a Snickers-sized Grouchy bar in our hearts. Okay, I'll take it.
right.
I don't know if that's the most oddly shaped of the candies, but I mean, I suppose that'll work.
Almond Joys are pretty oddly shaped.
And sometimes you feel like a nut.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you don't.
And I've heard that Almond Joys have nuts, but Mounds don't.
I have heard that. Not in a while, though. Not in a while.
I have also heard that. But guys, something else I've heard. Do you hear that? Seagulls in the wait a second. Those are turkeys. Do you smell that? That salt water? Do you smell that? And the sun beating down on your face.
What are my feet on? What am I standing on?
You have entered
Oh no.
Turkey Island.
Dun, dun, dun.
I plan to outwit, outlast, and outplay every single one of you. So
I don't know if we're going to have any kind of torchlight ceremonies, but
hey, you do you, man.
So yes, I conjured up this Uncle Turkey's Island Getaway package. It's a gaming package. Life is tough, right? We all have families and work and things to do. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to help the Backlog Busters out. I'm going to send them away on an island with a ample $300 budget to this island where they get a gaming hut, which includes dirt floor, an outlet, a grass roof, and at least 3 sides. And in this gaming hut, they have to do whatever they want. They've got this $300. I've tasked them to go ahead and spend it here, online, local, however they want to do it. We'll ship this gaming stuff to the island, and we'll never hear from them again. This is a really fun getaway where you can't get any more games ever. You can't see your friends or family anymore. But guess what? You get to play some video games. And so choose wisely. Now, there were some rules. Well, because we had to make it fun and exciting and interesting, we didn't want to just let, oh, I'm going to get a computer, I'm going to get a Raspberry Pi, I'm going to load it up with ROMs. Easy peasy. No, we're not going to do that. Not on Turkey's Watch. So you can have officially licensed consoles that maybe emulate games, right? But you can't just get a Raspberry Pi and load it up and say, aha, I've tricked you, Turkey. So um, I've tasked the gentleman with this, and we're going to go through our lists and talk about what we purchased and why, and maybe just a little bit of kind of, what your thoughts were on the task and, what you've learned about yourselves. Ryan, you want to go first?
All right. I have to say, when I was looking up what I was going to spend my money on, I started sweating. I felt like I was already on the island without a cool breeze, without any shade. So here is what I have found. Now, if you have issues with what I have, this is what you tasked me with. Okay. So it's hard to play games if I can't actually see what I'm playing. So the first thing I looked for was some kind of monitor. Now, at first pass, I did find a projector that could project up to 110 inches. That'd be huge, and I figured if I'm going to be there forever with my failing eyesight, I already have glasses now, that would be what I needed. But I said, you know what? For $75, I can find a cheaper option. Okay, my dad would be proud. And I found a 26-inch TV that had HDMI inputs, and it was $35 or best offer. And you know what? I talked to the guy, and I was able to get him to come down to $25. So I saved $10 right there. So I'm $25 in. And then this was really a last minute thing. Was the Super Nintendo Facebook for over 2.5 years. But I heard about this marketplace thing. Let me see what I can find. And somebody had a Super Nintendo Classic for $80.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I was really struggling with how I was going to spend my money to get the games that I actually wanted to play. Because the games I really want are kind of expensive if I have to have a monitor and a. I figure with the Super Nintendo, I get to play Final Fantasy VI or 3, depending on how you look at it. I get Sigurd from Street Fighter, Super Mario World, which is one of my favorite games of all time, Super Metroid, Legend of Zelda, and a few other games. And I thought, for $80, this is going to last me a long time. These are good games that even now, 25 years later, I'm saying these are good games and I would play them. So, stuck on an island forever, I'm good. It's going to be in the price type that you've designed for us. And of course, we're making assumptions that there is electricity provided to the outlet and that the roof is going to hold up. Okay, these are the assumptions I'm going on. But I don't want to be sitting down in the sand, all day, every day. So I found a gaming chair, $10. So one of
$10
those
gaming chair?
one of those things that looks like a
Yes.
bench, like a curved L. $10.
Okay.
I said, this is going to help me out, so I'm not just sitting cross-legged on the ground and being uncomfortable. And so right now that puts us at $105. So I have $195 left. What am I going to spend that on? The next thing I'm going to buy, I'm not going to spend any money on it because I found somebody who has a free Xbox One.
No.
Free. Kid you not. If you go, this was on Craigslist. And I'm not going to say this because I don't go to try. It seems like one of those shady things like, hey man, you want a free Xbox? Yeah, I'll meet you up. Come on over here. And then you never hear from, your family never sees you again. Right. I figured, I'm going to do this. It's free. I'm playing under Trash Turkey's rules. And so now I've got a free Xbox One. Man. And just in case it doesn't come with a controller, and just in case I'm making on the island named Spalding wants to play, I found someone who's offering up an Xbox One controller for $1. So now I can play, and my little beach ball buddy can play too. And I really wanted to do something like the Nintendo Switch, but you can't get anything cheap these days. And most of the other Nintendo consoles trying to get the games for it just be out of reach and out of budget. So that's why I started on Xbox, because that is the secondary gaming ecosystem that I'm a part of. And there are a lot of good games that I know I can get a lot of fantastic time on. So here's the rundown of the games I'm getting. So right now, Microsoft is having this crazy Ultimate Games deals going on. And so I spent a lot of time there. For $60, this was my big expense. $60, I get Forza Horizon 3 and for the Ultimate Editions collection. So it comes with all of the DLC, all the extra cars for both games, $60. So I'm going to take that. Civilization 6 is $30 because I love my Civilization games. And Cities Skylines is on sale for $10. And that is a SimCity type game. I played a little bit of it on Game Pass and really enjoyed it. I figured I'm going to be stuck on an island. What a great way to spend the time is to create a city that I'm never going to see or anything like it. And so just in those three games, that's $100. So the rest of it, I said, I got to start finding cheaper deals. So for $10, Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year Edition. I've never played it, but I like RPGs. I like open games. And again, I'm trying to find long experiences that are going to last, that I can go back to and just play differently. In that same vein, $15 for The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Game of the Year Edition. $15 for Monster Hunter World. And then, let's see, $5 for Star Wars Battlefront Ultimate Edition. Don't know much about it. I figured $5. Star Wars, why not? And $5 for NBA Jam On Fire Edition. Got to get some basketball in there. Now, I don't know how you feel about these next two, Jeremy. So I'm kind of offering this up, trying to, please be kind to me on this. So these games are not currently on sale, but I have purchased these games for this price before, and they very frequently go on sale. So what's your judgment going to be?
I'll allow it.
Okay, cool. So for $25, and I bought this a few months ago, the Assassin's Creed Antiquity bundle that includes Origins and Odyssey. So two games I know that are 100+ hour games. And then for $5, Burnout Paradise. And though that's the Burnout Paradise remastered on the Xbox One. So I've got my racing games because, again, the Forza Horizon games are so much fun. If you've never played them, especially Forza Horizon 4, if you've got Game Pass, try it. Open world driving, you just drive wherever you want to. Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads. It is a blast. You got to play it. But the Civilization, the sim games, Civilization and Skylines, and then the RPGs. So not exactly everything that I would want, but again, with your restrictions, that's what I'm going for.
I think it's pretty good. My only concern, though, is because in our conversations online that the other backloggers listening to this are not privy to, we talked about internet connection. And I think I remember saying that internet connection is only available during the full moon.
Right.
Now, with Xbox policy and DRM, how often are we going to have that Xbox One plugged into the internet to be able for it to authenticate to be able to play these games? That's what I'm concerned about.
If they are games that I've purchased, I don't think it's going to be. I hope it's not going to be that big of an issue. But I guess I never haven't seen it.
Oh no! You're already on the island and you're stuck. Just
see, and my concern would be, I heard there was one outlet, so one plug, and I didn't hear power strip in there. So are you going to be able to plug everything in? That's my question.
My assumption was that it was a 2-socket outlet.
It is a 2-socket outlet. We haven't One thing that I might improve the huts with are some GFCI outlets, just for safety. I mean, we're close to the shore. That's a water and electricity, guys. You know, Turkey wants to be safe and OSHA compliant and up to code. So we'll probably just put a GFCI uh, single outlet. Well, two allowing two plugs.
So
So
are you going to allow this exception that, you know, no vast internet connectivity, but just enough to beam
I'll
a
allow it.
signal to verify?
I'll
Okay, because I could have gone crazy and said, well, he never mentioned internet connectivity, so I'm going to do all the free MMO games. I'm going to do Sky Hunters and Shoot Face and Blast Monkeys.
Hey, Blast Monkeys is great.
My next question
Oh,
comes down to
dear.
the storage real estate of the particular Xbox that you obtained. Is there enough storage to download all those games and have them available on the system at any given time?
I would think so. I haven't checked on the size of the downloads, but the ones that I'd be concerned about would be like Horizon 4, the Dragon Age, Witcher 3. Those might, and the Assassin's Creed, those would probably take, what, 50 to 60 gigs each. But even with the 500 gig one, I think I'd be pretty safe with that. I'm pretty sure that this free one was a 1 terabyte. Pretty sure.
Okay, then you're in
So
good shape.
I'm not going to die when I go pick it up. The abandoned warehouse is totally safe. Gotcha.
Totally. Well, that sounds like wonderful picks, Ryan. I really love it. I'm really glad that you got a gaming chair, and I'm a little jealous because I didn't get one, and I'm like, oh. So that's gonna be kind of rough on the Tookus.
All right, all right, all right. It's Grouchy Surge, the fat man in Vegas, offering you a little bit of information since I couldn't make the podcast. You see my good buddy Turkey, Mr. Turkey, that jive, silky smooth voice, jive talking turkey. He gave us a challenge. We had $300 and a wall outlet. And then we just needed to come up with what our gaming setup would be. $300. So, I can't find my paperwork. I've looked. I can't find my headphone dongle. I'm starting to think that somebody's sabotaging me, Mr. Turkey. Anyway, I'm going to go off the top of my head. So, with my $300, I'm going to just try to recall some of the stuff I bought, because I had a lot of leftover money. You know what I'm talking about? $300, that's a lot. So the first thing I'm going to do is I went on eBay and I bought myself an Xbox 360. You see, that system only goes for like $65. Has a lot of good games that I could play for a long time. So yeah, got myself 360, free shipping, $65. Now here's a list of games that I searched for under buy it now with free shipping, or maybe there was a little bit of shipping, but all these games came under $7. The Elder Scrolls Oblivion, The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5, Assassin's Creed, like 1, 2, 3, Brotherhood, Beavis and Butthead, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, not Odyssey, it's in the wrong system, but you get me. There's like 5 Assassin's Creed games on the 360. I can get them all cheap, and I can put 40 to 60 hours into each of them. Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas. See, with the 2 Elder Scrolls games and the 2 Fallout games, that's 400 to 600 hours right there. Easy peasy, beautiful cover girl. Me, I'm a cover girl. So I was thinking about that, and then I was like, there's got to be more. Now, he said gaming. I don't know if he said video gaming or not, but
I'm going to say I'm going to buy myself a couple decks of cards. I can play some solitaire. I can bring some of the other Backlog Busters over and we can play. I'm going to get myself a complete set of exploding kittens. That way the Backlog Busters can play with me as well. So that's what I'm going to do with my money. $300, a 360, and some card games. If I wanted, I could pick up a PS2 and grab a ton of RPGs under the $5 value. Now, I apologize that this wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but I just spent 15 minutes looking for where I wrote down my entire list of games, and I can't find it. I guarantee I'm going to go to work and it's going to be there on my desk. But I'm not at work. So what else do I got for you guys? Since I haven't been on the podcast for the last 2 months, I just want to let you guys know I beat Ori and the Blind Forest. That's right, both of them. Took them down. Bam, conquered that. I played it I beat it on my Xbox. However, I did play a good amount of it through the xCloud, whether at home on my phone, on a tablet, or at a hotel through their Wi-Fi on a tablet. Worked pretty good. Hotel Wi-Fi got a little choppy, some screen tearing, but other than that, everything was good. All right. I don't know why, man. I feel like I should just be on like a sultry 70s radio broadcast right now. That's the mood I've got. That's the vibes I'm feeling. You know what I'm talking about. I know you know what I'm talking about. Since beating Ori, I haven't been able to get into anything. You know what I'm saying? I have played some Madden. Playing the Outer Worlds right now. Started Rise of the Tomb Raider, or whatever the second one's called. Just playing a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And maybe at some point I'll beat a game. Or I'll have 30 games that I started and haven't completed. But yeah. So this is it, man. This is the Fat Man in Vegas saying, all right. I hope y'all having a groovy backlog time. I'm still working on Super Mario Brothers for Mario Bingo. That's right. I can't beat the game. I'm trying to do it without save states. Now, give me another week or so, and I'm just going to cheat. I'm going to use some save states, and I'm going to roll some credits. But right now, I die a lot. An awful lot. But that, I need you people out there to play some Super Mario Backlog Bingo with the Backlog Busters. Guys, I've missed recording with you the last couple of months. This is just a bad time of year for the Fat Man. And I'm really hoping, and I haven't heard it yet, but I'm hoping that Ryan opened up the podcast with the Skinny Man from Texas again, because that made me laugh. Anyway, this is Grouchy Surge. Thanks for listening to the Backlog Busters. Thanks for supporting us with everything we do. Keep on backlogging, brothers. All right.
Mike, what did you pick up with your $300 turkey bucks? Free turkey bucks.
So I took a completely different approach under the assumption that it was a one plug outlet. Pleasantly surprised to find two. Lucky me. Don't need to though, because I've decided that I'm gonna go mobile. That's right, guys. I decided to invest in the new Nintendo 3DS XL. Well, 2DS XL, actually. Which is currently on sale at Walmart for $99.99. Comes packaged with Mario Kart 7. Thought that was a pretty good deal. Starts me off at $100. There's TV, console, controller, all bundled in one. Not a bad place to start. Comes with a charger.
I want to jump in real quick and let you know that deal on Walmart is totally true. $100 for a new 2DS XL with Mario Kart 7 installed. And I say this because I may or may not have purchased 2 of those in the last week.
I also may have purchased one.
Man, guys, adding to that backlog. Or should I say, is it just like the reserve? Like, in case of emergency, break open cardboard because my 2DS, 3DS is broken. Or do you guys not have one of those yet?
My son had had a 2DS XL that broke, and the screen got all weird, and it wouldn't do anything. So I picked that up, and then I picked up another one just to have as a backup and to have for me because we already had a 3DS. So now we can all play together, and I can finally play some of those games, some of those RPGs on the 2DS or the 3DS that I haven't had a chance to play yet.
That's cool.
Yeah, for me, it was my daughter broke her 2DS, the standard one, the big old brick, broke the screen on it. So I was replacing hers. I did not get one for me. I actually still have my original 3DS. But anyways, back to the challenge. I looked at the 3DS library and I went directly to online retailers of probably reputable standing. And I said, what can I play for an extended period of time? And knowing the 3DS and all of its glory, P.S. I also skipped the chair. Didn't think that far ahead. Kind of jealous, not gonna lie. Anyways, I love me some Legend of Zelda. So I picked up Ocarina of Time for $10.46, and Majora's Mask for $26.57, and A Link Between Worlds for $17.99. Off to a pretty decent start. Plenty to play there. Not a lot of long-lasting stuff yet. So I thought, what can I really get some playtime out of? So looked at RPGs. I thought, okay, well, let's grab Pokemon Moon for $9.99. Let's grab Xenoblade Chronicles 3D for $20. Let's grab, RPG Maker for $9.99. Now, with that little beauty, I can make as many RPG games as I want. Potentially endlessly. Forever. And ever. And then, in 20 years, when I forgot the RPGs I used to make, I can go back and play them like brand new games. Online. These reputable dealers are online. Not Facebook Marketplace, though. I didn't think to look there. Did not think to look there. And I said, I need some nostalgia in there. I need some nostalgia. So I went and picked up Mega Man Legacy Collection for $14.99. I grabbed NES Remix for $8.99 when just got to go back to those NES days. And I said, well, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. What else can I get? I thought for a second and I said, you know what this collection needs? A tactics game. So I picked up the Nintendo first party tactics game, codenamed Steam, for $4.99. Great deal. Fantastic game. Incredibly underrated. I may be one of 3 people that appreciate the game, but I'm one of those 3 people. I thought, you know what games take a long time to beat? Really long completionist challenges. Those Warrior games. So I got Hyrule Warriors for $9.
Whoa.
And Warriors for $7.17.
Now you need to send me these links. These are probably now. I was not super concerned about complete inbox games when I'll tell you my games. You know, at this point, you know, I mean, I know it's 3DS, but a Warriors Zelda game. I know it's not a mainline, but for $7, that's 3DS game for $7. That's pretty good. That's a good.
Hyrule Warriors was $9. Fire Emblem Warriors was $7.17.
Still though, that's dirt cheap. I mean, you couldn't. Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good sleuthing. I'm not gonna call you, Mike. I'm not gonna ask for links, which I've provided. If anybody wants to see my links later, but
we're gonna put Mike's links in the show notes. I'm still very dubious of this. It sounds like some, like, you know, random website in another country that's just there to siphon off your credit card number. Now, I want to ask this. So
From the
this
guy
is
who is gonna get a free Xbox One.
Yeah,
Okay,
let's talk about reputable sources, shall we?
I feel very judged by that statement, Jeremy, and I don't like that. I'm going to blast you on Twitter later. So the question I want to have is, we're doing this as our fantasy and prepping for this, but Mike, in reality, in the world in which we were grounded, did you pull the trigger on any of these deals for yourself? Did you actually go, so, I'm going to actually buy these for myself for real?
I actually already have most of these games, so no, I did not.
Okay.
My guess with these prices is where they get you is the shipping, but you got that covered for me, so I'm in good shape.
Yeah, I did not. That was something I wanted to make sure. I did not I didn't want to pull anything out late that would, throw wrenches in the plans. But yes, I'll cover shipping and taxes. So in Texas, I think I get a pretty good deal there.
So my wife just brought a note to me that says, quote, "Yes, my brilliant husband, but did you account for tax?" Which I did not. Now, before we move on, I still have 2 more games
Yes, sir.
on my list that I was able to pick up. One, the Monster Hunter 3 for 3DS, I was able to get for $9.84. $9.84.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, that's a long game. Lots of monsters to kill. I won't be able to take advantage of the online stuff, but if I remember correctly from my days of playing Monster Hunter on the PS2, there's a sizable offline campaign as well. So here's hoping I didn't waste $10. And last, but certainly not least, I had to get the penultimate game for my personal 3DS collection.
Can I guess?
And that, yes, you can.
That's Mario Maker.
Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Do you care to guess how much I spent on it?
I would say 34 cents.
That's too low. The actual amount that I spent on Super Mario Maker 3DS, which would allow me to create an unlimited number of platforming levels, $12.24.
That's good.
For a grand total amount spent of $262.21.
That's very good. That's very good. You're well under budget. Now, Mathman, do you have your total? I have to call you Mathman when we're talking about math.
I had some last minute changes here and there, so I think my 295, 300. So it was, I was trying to max it as much as possible, saying, all right, this is how much I have left to spend on games. Because at first I had that $100 2DS XL. I thought it comes with the game, it's $100, but the games that I want to play on it, it's going to cost too much to get enough games I'm actually going to be happy with, which is why I changed my direction. Plus, kudos to you for being able to stare at a 5-inch screen.
Hey, there's lots of other things to look at on the island that are exciting, like killer turkeys.
Whoa.
Wait a second.
This has killer turkeys?
No, they're friendly, I promise.
Then why did you describe them as killer? How you?
We'll talk about it later.
Is this how you met your wife? Hey, you want to go out with a killer turkey? No. Friendly.
No, like they're really good friends. Like they're killer, like chums. Like awesome.
Like they're going to turn you into chum for the sharks?
Maybe.
Okay.
So, my my total. Um, you both beat me, I believe. So the first thing I picked up, I'm I'm there with Mike. I picked up uh from that website Macari. I think I'm pronouncing that right. There was and now it's sold. I did not pick it up, but it was a $70 3DS. It came with a charger. It was original. So I thought that was decent. Probably should have actually invested in the $99 2DS, but I wouldn't have been able to pick up some of the other things I did. Um, okay, I've got my handheld. Let me get some games for it. So they also had a bundle on there of 10 3DS games um, for $60. Now they weren't all 3DS games. There were some DS games. So trying to look at it and tell you exactly what it is. So they had the Mario 3D. Is it World or Land on the 3DS? I have
And
Land.
on
And I've never played that one. That's one that I've wanted to play. I've wanted to pick up. That's what I kind of did with this. There's games where I wanted to. Hey, I'm stuck on an island. I need some comfort food, but I also want to play something new. Something that um, I haven't played before. So that was one thing. Another thing, another Mario, 2D Mario, the new Super Mario Brothers for the DS. There is a Kirby game, Kirby Deluxe, which I haven't heard great things about, but I do love Kirby, so I was okay with that. They have Mario Kart DS, the DS Mario Kart, and they have in this bundle, a lot of Lego games. I love Lego games. There's always studs to find, always things to pick up. So really, those games, if you want to get a lot out of them, you can. So in this bundle, it comes with the Lord of the Rings, Star Wars 3, Lego Movie, Lego City, and the Indiana Jones Lego games. And last but not least, it comes with Farming Simulator 14 for the 3DS, which I thought would be invaluable on the island when I'm trying to survive. So I don't know if it's just like planting corn in Iowa and it won't really apply, but maybe they have some kind of maybe they have some kind of tropical themed, I don't know, level that will bear some fruit, pun intended. All right, so then I thought about I'm stuck on this island. Uh, it's gonna get kind of rough, and I'm gonna have to learn how to do different things. Another game that I've always wanted to play and pick up is Fantasy Life. So Fantasy Life on the 3DS, I got for $23.99, kind of high, but there's lots of different. What I've heard, there's lots of different tasks that you can do. You can be different things. You can learn how to do different things, which I'm gonna need on the island all by myself, to keep me sane. I feel like puzzle games kind of calm me down, take my mind off of things, and a puzzle game for the 3DS I've always wanted to pick up. I think it's just a match 3, but Puzzle and Dragons, the one that has the Mario theme, that is $11.78. And then I found another 6 games for the 3DS and DS for $30. That one has another puzzle game, which is you have to have. It's Tetris Axis, I believe it's called on the 3DS. And I looked up a trailer for it, and it has lots of different modes, lots of different things you can do on that. So a Picross DS game in that bundle. Mario and Donkey Kong for the DS. And Mike, let's say the moons collide, that's not really how the saying goes, but I also in this bundle got Monster Hunter Ultimate for Ultimate. So we might be able to play on the full moon together. And last but not least, in this bundle, again, maybe a little practical turkey I'm trying to be, but we got for the DS Mechanic Master, which is some kind of puzzle game that has like gears and such on it. I'm thinking that it will teach me how to, I don't know, rig up pulleys and such to build other structures and to live longer on this island. I don't know, fulcrums and such. Um, and then next, because I know, I'm gonna need to relax after a long day of, I don't know, picking coconuts and such. So I'm gonna need to play some beat 'em ups and other things. So I picked up for actually $49.99, the Sega Genesis Mini, right, at Target.com. You can pick that up, and as you know, to play that, I'm gonna need a TV, and also on Macari, there is a deal where I found 7 TVs for $31. Now, if you look at these pictures, they say they're in great shape. I don't know if I'd say great shape, but I'm assuming with 7 of them, I probably could find one that works, and then probably trade 6 of them to the locals or someone else, for maybe some sweet fish or some other type of, I don't know, something I'll need. It'll be a good bargaining chip. I mean, TVs on islands. I mean, it's pretty good stuff.
Now, I didn't know there were other people on the island.
I mean, I'm just.
Wait. So wait. Your island has other people, but ours doesn't? What is
Mine
this?
I'm just saying. You have your volleyball, okay, Ryan? That's all you need. You paint the face, you're good. I don't
I'm
know.
not be so concerned about playing video games.
See, I don't really know what these islands are going to have on them. I'm a little concerned. I'm hoping that the natives are friendly and that we'll be friends. And I hope that they like video games. I mean, I assume that they would. Who wouldn't, right?
I just said, what kind of Tom Nook-alike are you?
That's actually part of this. So I guess how I came up with this is that I've moved locations. As you can see by my background, I am on the beach, but in reality, I'm in a new home and I have an office-ish area that I was trying to set up. And I thought it would be a fun thing to think about, okay, what could we do, if I want to set up a game room, how do I set that up? What would I want to put in there? And then I thought, well, that'd be a fun thing to talk about with the guys. But that's too easy to be like, oh, what would you put in there? Oh, I put everything in there, turkey. And you're like, oh, no. But now if I ship you off to an island and only give you a few shekels, then we know. Anyways, back to my list. So, the next thing is I found this Mario warp pipe art on Etsy for $20.42. It's a very minimalistic print of the warp pipe, and I thought maybe it would be something fun to stare at if you get kind of like, I don't know, bored and wore out, and you think, I wonder what's on the other side of that warp pipe. Maybe give your mind some something to think about, and maybe if you get homesick, you think, well, that's where I need to go to get back home. And so that brings me to the end of the list, except for one other item, because I was getting very close to my total, and then I found 1 can of Tropical Strike Game Fuel for $1.99, which brings my total to $299.19. So with that Tropical Strike Game Fuel, puts me darn near 300 turkey bucks. So that's my list.
I'm impressed. So how many total games did you have on your list?
Okay, I'd have to count. Let's see.
And Mike, I'm curious how many games you had on your list as well, because you guys both said like a lot. So I guess really for you, Jeremy, how many how many games that are not part of the Sega Genesis?
42, I believe.
Because so it's 42 on that. So how many are not on the Sega Genesis?
Not on the Sega Genesis. We have 10, 11, 12, 18, 18.
Okay.
So,
For me, I've got the 21 on the Super Nintendo Classic plus I think 12 individual games. How about you, Mike?
My grand total of cartridges that I would have is 13. That includes the Mega Man Legacy Collection, which I think is the first 6 Mega Man games. So it would be a total of 18 games.
Yeah, when I was looking at the stuff on the Xbox store, I also came across Rare Replay, which was on sale
yeah.
for 15. I thought, oh man, it was a 30 or 40 games. That's a lot of playtime there. But then I looked at the games, I went, I think most of the games would just make me depressed more than anything.
You don't want to play Jet Force Gemini? I've actually never played that. Is that any good?
I don't know, but I saw it had Solar Jetman, which I played for all of about 15 minutes when I rented it back in 1990.
Yeah.
Some of the games I think would be kind of fun, and they might have some lasting power, but I think I'd have more fun with some of the other ones that I had on my list. So I feel good about my list. I guess I'm just no, because you guys both went for handhelds on yours. Um, yeah, that's some good stuff. And hopefully our islands are close enough that I can build a raft and come, pop over and check out Project Steam on Mike's Island, or play some of those games and help you on your beat 'em ups. Play some Streets of Rage.
Yeah, the mini comes with 2 controllers, so I mean, you're more
So
than
does the
welcome.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Wait, I think, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it
Okay,
does.
so when you gave me this challenge, and I gotta say, if you look in our show notes, you can see how I really feel about it. A little, but I actually wanted to see what other people would have put for. I didn't tell them the whole scenario. I just said, all right, if there's only one game you could play forever and that was it, what would you choose? So I just want to highlight the responses that we got. Our very own Backlog Odyssey, Patrick, the games that he listed, I don't even know how to pronounce them, and I just had to look them up to see what they were. So the first one he listed was Musha Futari, and the other one was Danpachi. And I don't know if I'm saying those correctly, but those both appear to be shoot 'em ups, bullet hells, things where if you are prone to epileptic seizures, don't play them.
Mm-hmm.
But I know how Patrick likes his shoot 'em ups, so yeah, those are what he considers his forever games. Then we had a response from Critical Lit, and he mentioned a couple of games that I had never heard of, and I asked for clarification. He said they were ASCII-based games. So I guess PC-based games. Caves of Qud, QUD, and Dwarf Fortress. So again, I've never heard of any of those. Have you guys?
No.
Okay.
I think I've heard of Dwarf Fortress, but I don't know anything about it. I mean, it sounds familiar. Let me put it like that. Other than that, yeah, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know anything about it.
Yeah. I had, even when he was describing it, I was like, okay. And then Last Time Lord, this one I thought Mike would be right through alley. He mentioned Mario Maker 1 or 2. So for his forever games, I went, you know what? That is a Mike game because it's got the gaming element to it. You can create your own levels, but for getting new levels, I guess you'll have to wait every 28 days to download some new levels. So
I could do that, or I could just make my own.
Right. Well, and yes, because your levels are torturous. They are creative. They are imaginative. They also have broken several controllers. So now Nemova had a great suggestion of Rock Band 4. So he says as long as I can have the controllers and the 800 tracks on there, he'd be fine. And I went, that's one of the things I do miss. I miss having the Rock Band stuff. I know the peripherals can take up a lot of space, but when you get a bunch of people together to play that, so much fun.
Yeah.
Couple of quick ones. Scaredy Matt said Skyrim, and Kevin Hummer T28 said The Witcher 3, which were some games that either had or were considering. And then finally, Ergoman mentioned Metal Gear Solid 2 or Civilization or Sims game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm assuming MGS is Metal Gear Solid, right?
Yes, I would think so.
In some circles. I don't know what else it could be, but you never know.
Well, this was an MSG too. So I've never played a Metal Gear game. Have you guys?
Yeah, I've played. I don't think I completed 2, but I played 2. Was super impressed by the first level. I'm just not very good at stealth games. I did at one point have a friend, I would say later in life, that after I'm saying, like, we both grew up playing games. We were probably in our 30s, and we were like, let's stay up and beat a game. Let's stay up and beat a game. It was Metal Gear Solid 3 we were trying to beat, and it was probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 in the morning, and we were on some level where you had to swim, and it was a swimming level where you had to press a button to, stay afloat, and I kept drowning, and he would, and then I would wake up. I would fall asleep and then start drowning and then wake up, with some like alert that's telling you that you're drowning, and then try to like swim again and, play it off like, yeah, I just meant to do that. It's like, no, I'm just old and tired. So, yeah. But yes, I've played them somewhat. But yeah.
I've played Metal Gear Solid and Metal Gear Solid 2 start to finish. Enjoyed both of them quite a bit. Metal Gear Solid 3, not so much, but 2 is where I end my Metal Gear Solid run.
Played any of them? I don't even think I've played the original one on the NES. I've heard some kind of horror stories about you play for a little bit and watch a long cutscene, or maybe that's a different series.
No, that's the series.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a lot of series, but particularly in the Metal Gear games. And they're not super detailed cutscenes. There's little pictures that occasionally shift and then voices. They're called codec conversations.
Hey, backloggers. Don't tell Mr. Turkey, but I snuck onto the last charter that was making its way to Turkey Island. I wasn't going to let a simple absence from the podcast this month stifle my fun and prevent me from sharing my stowaway items. I mean, my totally legal purchases for this $300 gaming getaway challenge. So, like a ninja, I emerge from the shadows, and I'm here to share my collectibles. Okay, I think the Turkey Island Patrol just left. So, first up, I gave myself some restrictions. Firstly, I could only get physical games, and secondly, I wanted to stick to a retro theme. Physical games because not only could I display them on my shelf, where I could stare at them with pride, once I got bored of actually playing them, but also because I could use them as building blocks or something if I really needed to pass the time. And I wanted to stay retro because if something was to go wrong, then I could at least have a fighting chance when it came to repairs. Which leads me to my first shopping spree, the equipment. A mixture of the practical and, well, mostly practical. For one, I needed a surge protector. That way, I'd have more outlets and it would protect my equipment if something was to go wrong. Next up was a CRT, because although a modern TV would probably be more reliable, I couldn't go retro without getting one. They may be heavy and cumbersome, but I was absolutely determined, dang it. That, and I was able to find a fancy 27-inch Sony Trinitron Wega for a measly $10 on Craigslist. That kind of blew my mind as well. Finally, I was really determined to make sure I was completely prepared should any of my precious electronics fail on me. So I carved a small portion of my budget out to buy some tools, including a 19-in-1 soldering kit, some extra electronics components, and a precision screwdriver set. Not only would I be able to repair things if they broke, I could just use them to tinker, to pass the time or whatever. With that all said and done, my equipment acquisitions were complete, totaling $58.62, leaving me with $241.38 for the fun stuff. Okay, so when thinking about what console I wanted to go with, I really wanted to go with something that's reliable and that I was familiar with. That and I needed to find something that wouldn't break the budget. And that console, my friends, was the Super Nintendo. Not only is it a classic, but you can get them for relatively cheap. And there's more than enough fantastic games that'll keep you occupied for years to come. I mean, we keep going back to them anyways. Well, at least I do. So, I was able to find an SNES in decent shape, from Craigslist once again, for $47.49. It only came with one controller and a power supply, and unfortunately no second controller or AV hookups. But I was able to find an extra controller for $10.50 and a new third-party S-video cable for $8.90. So I was more than happy, and I could play my game. I mean, that's the most important part, right? Now, with my hardware in hand, at a total of $115.60, leaving me with $184.99 left to spend on games. I mean, who wouldn't want to spend that kind of money on games even if you weren't being sequestered to a desert island? Okay, now, since this is really why everyone is here, I'll go through each of the games I was able to find one by one. But I will start this off by saying my first step was to mod my SNES so it could play Super Famicom games. The Japanese version of the Super Nintendo games. Not only is it easy, just requiring you to break a couple tabs in the cart slot, but you can get most Super Famicom games for a fraction of the price of most North American games. Also, as long as you're not trying to play an RPG, most games are more than playable, so the language barrier shouldn't be a problem. I mean, a little Japanese never hurt anyone, right? That, and it'll be a good opportunity to learn Japanese, or at least how to recognize what yes and no are in hiragana. And now, the games. Many of which I was trying to find fun and easy pick-up-to-play games that I can revisit time and time again. Also, unless noted otherwise, these were all acquired from eBay and are the Japanese versions of the games. Alright, then let's get this started then. The first up was the Super Game Boy on the Super Famicom for $15. And this was so that I would have a little variety. I could play Super Nintendo games and I could play Game Boy games, so it kind of opened up the options to me. And because of that, I decided to dive into the Game Boy games first, with the first one being The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, one of my favorite Game Boy games ever, and probably one of my favorite Zelda games too. Not only is it relatively long, it's one of those games where you can kind of approach it from different angles. You can challenge yourself in different ways, especially if you've already beaten the game before. And, I mean, it's a classic, so I had to get that one. Now, the second, because it was difficult to find Castlevanias in general without breaking the bank, I thought I would go something a little more obscure, and that is Akumaju Special Boku Dracula-kun, or Kid Dracula, for $23.99. This was basically kind of a Castlevania, but chibi form, and I thought I never played it before, and I love Castlevanias, so I think this would have been a perfect pick for me. Next up is another classic Game Boy game, and that is Kirby's Dream Land. Although I'm not the biggest Kirby fan in existence, being able to pick this one up for $13.84 kind of gives me a way to play platformers, in the Game Boy space without going with Mario, because as you'll see a little bit further, that's covered in the Super Nintendo. It's a classic, so I could grow to love it, and like most of the other games, you put a little time into it, you can challenge yourself. They're not the longest games, but they're, at least in my mind, infinitely replayable. Next up, I wanted to go with a more puzzle-style game, and since I love Picross, I seen that you could get Picross on the Game Boy, with Mario's Picross at $13.99. I've never played the Game Boy version of Picross, and I have to imagine that using the D-pad instead of a touchscreen is probably a little frustrating, but it's a way to kind of like bend your brain to exercise those brain muscles or whatever. And to be perfectly honest, I've been playing the same Picross game for months now, and still not even close to beating it. So I have a feeling that this Picross would last quite a while. Okay, and finally, the last Game Boy game I have on my list is Metroid 2. One, because I love me some Metroidvanias, and two, because I've never played Metroid 2. And it being another classic Game Boy game, the fact that I could get it for $19.99, I thought was a pretty dang good deal. So now I have Zelda, I have some Castlevania, I have Kirby, I have a little puzzle games with Picross, and, of course, some Metroid with Metroid 2. And then, it's time for the Super Nintendo games themselves. First being Super Mario All-Stars, and this is the Super Famicom version I was able to find for $15.99. It comes with Mario 1, 2, and 3, and the Lost Levels, and, like I said before, we've been playing these games for years and years, so I can never imagine getting sick of these ever. And if we're talking classics, Mario is the ultimate classic, and the first three Marios are the ones that will go down in history. So that's what I want on my Super Nintendo. Next up is another puzzle game by the name of Panel de Pon, and I got this for $19.99. And for those who don't know what that is, that's just the Japanese version of Tetris Attack, one of my favorite Super Nintendo puzzle games. And one of those games that you could easily go back to if you just want to kill some time. It's colorful, it's fun, a perfect fit for the Super Nintendo in my mind. The next one, and this is one that I have a lot of nostalgia for. It's Super Bomberman for $8.82. Now this is the Super Famicom version. It's not the American version. But even if you're playing it single player, it's an absolute blast. There's something so satisfying about going around those arenas and blowing up all the blocks and killing all the enemies. It's wonderful. Getting those power-ups, love it. And if you happen to have a second player, it's even better. Next up, I had to pick out a shoot 'em up. This one I had the hardest time deciding, because there's a lot of good shoot 'em ups on the Super Nintendo, but a lot of them are also very expensive. But one I was able to find for relatively cheap was Darius Twins for $17.99. Again, Super Famicom version, but with it being a shoot 'em up, I can't even imagine there is a language barrier other than the menus. But if you got your lifetime to figure this out, I don't think they're going to stop me. And shoot 'em ups, in my mind, are one of those games that you could play forever. You'll always be able to improve. You'll always be able to challenge yourself in different ways. And Darius Twins just happens to be the one that I picked. One, because I love the Darius series, and two, because I really needed a cheap shoot 'em up on my list. And finally, I have two more. My second last pick was Super Adventure Island for $11.40. Again, the Super Famicom version. I absolutely love the Adventure Island games. There's something so soothing about them. It's such a simple platformer, has wonderful music, and the graphics are just so cute. And it's just an all-around fun package. And I had to pick it up, especially for such a cheap price. I didn't realize how cheap you could get it. And finally, my last pick for the Super Nintendo was F1 Grand Prix for a grand total of $4. And again, this is the Super Famicom game. But the reason I went with this was because I wanted to round off my total cost to a nice and even $300. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of F1 or racing games in general, honestly, but I was determined to hit that mark. Well, my friends, I think I see the Turkey Island Patrol is starting to make their rounds. So it's time for me to slink back to the shadows. Don't worry though. Ninja are accustomed to the shadows. Huh. Now I just need to find that outlet. It's really hard to see in here when it's dark.
All right. Well, I think we're up to that time to talk about what we have been playing. What have we been trying to mark off the backlog? What square are we trying to get off of that backlog bingo? So I think, Mike, you are up first. Lead us off.
All right. So I have been working on a handful of games this month. I only actually finished one, but I've been working on my never-ending game, Dead by Daylight, of course, but also the Talos Principle and Quantum Break. But the game I actually finished was the original Super Mario Brothers. Now, I did a poll on Twitter asking folks which game they'd like me to talk about out of the three that I played this month, excluding Dead by Daylight because I've already talked about it. But the winner of the poll was Super Mario Brothers. So you guys are going to get my hot takes on the current iteration of Super Mario Brothers playable on Switch Nintendo Online. So my takeaway from this game is that I don't care what anybody says. This game does not hold up anymore. It may have been great on the NES back in its day, and it may have helped shape the future of gaming. All the kudos to it for that. But to play it today, especially with the Switch Joy-Con in handheld mode, it is a nightmare. Now, they decided that in order to play the game, they wanted to be very, very traditional and stick with the A and B for the jump, run, shoot aspects of the game. Now, the way that the Switch sets up their A and B is offset to the way modern-day Marios set up their control scheme. So instead of comfortably resting your thumb across, I think it's Y and B, you have to either tilt your thumb the wrong way to hit A and B, and then it's backwards, or shift your thumb up to hit, it must be X and Y, or X and A, to run and jump efficiently. Now, the problem with doing that in handheld mode is the Switch has tiny, tiny buttons. And my hand, cramped like this, right here, you can't see it. I would say the name of the muscle, but I would assume most people would know it. The big meaty part of my thumb, that part got a really big cramp in it. And yeah, I had to stop playing. But I did finish the game for the first time ever, so I am proud of myself. And as far as Backlog Bingo is concerned, this is going in my game from my childhood. Does not hold up. I don't care what anybody says. It does not hold up.
I think that area of your hand that you're talking about, I think the technical name is thumb meat. So I think that's the medical term.
I
yes.
mean, probably.
So, yes, the Switch in handheld, you need a D-pad for these games, and I almost want to spend $200 just to get a D-pad on a stinking Switch to be able to play games in handheld, because a lot of the games that I like to play are older games, like Mario Brothers, any of that stuff. I bought that Mega Man Zero collection. It's like, I really want a D-pad for that, So, I mean, maybe getting one of those rigs that I've been seeing. I think Ergoman might have gotten one where you have the Pro controller and a clamp for the Switch. screen, something like that might be a better way to do that. But yeah, I mean, I could see Super Mario Brothers not holding up. I mean, for the time, it was amazing because most games were pretty short. Single screen, or at least that's kind of what I was used to. I mean, you get an arcade game and you're looking at the screen, you're looking at Donkey Kong. You're climbing the ladders, you're hammering the barrels or doing whatever, right? But like the idea of going to World 1-1 and then after that it's World 1-2, it's like, what? Like, how big is this world? But yeah, I mean, going back to it, I could see it being a little rough around the edges as far as,
Yeah.
especially with the controls being how they are on the Switch.
So I think what compounds it is the momentum system that the original Mario Brothers has, and the way that you speed up. It, like, you have to hold it for a little bit before you start going fast, but you start going fast so quickly that it makes it really easy to either undershoot or way overshoot the jump that you're going for. My one other major gripe with the game design is in World 7 Castle. They have, and World 8 Castle, actually. They have a maze of, you got to pick the right path in order to proceed. And it's not super clear how to do it, just running through it. You can trial and error it, sure, but you're going to run out of time a few times trying to figure it out. And I just think it's really frustrating in a modern day setting to attempt that. And I'm going to end my Mario Bros. Rant there. I apologize to anyone who loves Mario Brothers. Don't get me wrong, I love the series. Mario Maker is one of my favorite games of all time. Original Mario Brothers doesn't do it for me.
He turns 35 this year, and you're going to treat him like that? I mean, he's our elder statesman with a mustache, and I mean, Mike, I don't know. I'm a little flabbergasted.
I beat him to the punch. I turned 35 last year, so there you go.
Oh, well.
He's such a young pup. But I agree with what you're saying there about the first Super Mario Brothers game. There's just that weird inertia and the way he jumps. And so when you go from there to what was the second one here in the States, and it was just a world of difference, and really set the stage for the future Mario games in terms of how the physics worked in the game. And it got just infinitely better. But again, for what it was at the time, it was groundbreaking, and it set the stage for a lot of games to come after it. But like we said, some of those games don't hold up very well. It's just like those first 3D games that we had on the Nintendo 64 or the PlayStation. At the time, it was kind of groundbreaking, but when you go back and look at it, the first generation 3D games typically don't hold up very well. And we've kind of we look at them through these rose-tinted glasses. But when you go back and play them, you go, that's not the way it was. So like my fondest era was the 16-bit era. So I feel like that art style still holds up very, very well. It was like the perfection of going from the super blocky graphics on an Atari 2600 or an Intellivision to more refined stuff on the NES to almost like perfection that you had on the Super Nintendo and the Genesis.
Yeah. Also, just the idea of being able to play outside of the play area, to be able to jump above the blocks and to get up and to go to a secret area where you get warp pipes. I mean, to me, that, just that, again, is I don't know if there was another game that did that before, but it's the first one I ever knew that did something like that too.
Same. One thing I learned about jumping up high like that is that you can't actually shoot fireballs while you're above the screen, which makes killing Lakitu a little harder than I would have liked. But yeah, that was an interesting little thing about Mario Bros. That I did not know until I played through it this time. You'd think I would know everything about Mario's by now,
Mm-hmm.
35 years later.
That's right. Well, Ryan, what have you played this month?
Oh, I did not play nearly as much as I wanted to, and I feel like I've let the backloggers down. After coming off a 120-hour epic of Dragon Quest XI, I struggled to do anything. I played a few games sparingly. I played a bit of Gree, which a lot of people were talking about either earlier this year or last year when it came out, which if you haven't had a chance to play it, it's on Xbox Game Pass on the PC. I highly recommend you do that if you've got Game Pass. It's a very beautiful game, great music. It's like a puzzle platformer. I don't think there's any deaths in the game, which makes it kind of interesting. But the game that I spent the most time on was Forager. And I was kind of his wife streamed that at one point. But for anybody out there who likes games like Stardew Valley, this is going to be up your alley. In Stardew Valley, you have a set day-night cycle, and you have to be home by a certain time, and your stamina is very finite, and your health. You can kind of replenish that during the day, but time will come to an end during the day, and you have to stop. But in Forager, you're on an island, and it goes through day-night cycles, but you never have to rest. You don't ever really have a home per se. You start off on an island with a pickaxe, and it's your job to chop down trees, break rocks, forage, like the name suggests, for your materials. And so the wood that you get, the stone, the ore, the berries, the fruit, all that stuff is used to craft bigger and better things, to make money to buy other islands. So I think for the whole of the game, there are a total of 49 islands because it's on a 7x7 grid. But you start off on one island that basically takes up one screen. And you start buying islands to expand where you can go. And the different islands will have new people to meet, new quests to do, new enemies to defeat, new items to obtain so that you can craft, again, bigger and better things. I found the loop in the game to be very addictive because you earn experience for chopping down the trees and breaking the rocks, or for killing enemies later on as you craft a sword. So you gain levels, and each level that you gain allows you to unlock, excuse me, a different part of this skill tree. Whether you want to open up and be able to build markets or vaults if you want to do something along the money side, or if you want to work on having the ability to build factories or even trains, or maybe you want to work on your forging or being able to do spells and potions and scrolls to make yourself more powerful. And so it opens up as you gain levels, which I found to be very fun. I couldn't wait to get to the next level to open up something else that allowed me to do something new so I could gain more experience. And it was just constantly going and going. And as you're chopping down the trees and the rocks, they keep coming back. So you don't have to wait long before there's more stuff for you to do, more stuff to chop down so you get more resources. But there is that aspect of resource management, because you construct a forge, it's going to have its footprint, and you say, okay, I need to craft coal, or I need the coal to craft or to turn steel ore into or iron ore into iron ingots and so forth. You can build multiple forges, but again, it's going to take up more real estate. So you got to figure, okay, what do I want this one to make? I need it to make this so I can make something bigger and better. And it just keeps on spiraling out of control. And I'm sure there's an end game to it. I haven't gotten there yet, but I've unlocked, I don't know, probably about half the islands, and they are kind of randomly generated because I was playing it on Game Pass on the Xbox One, and then I was also able to play it on the PC through Game Pass, and it's also, I think it's probably available on everything. I know it's on Switch, and it was on my wish list at one point. But I figured, hey, if you're on Game Pass, why not try it out? But when I was playing it a second playthrough on the computer, when I bought my very next island, it was something different than what it was the first time. I was like, oh, well, this is new. So there's definitely some replayability to it. But yeah, if you like the kind of crafting games and the resource collection stuff, I highly recommend it. The controls are great. It's this cute little chibi guy running around, swinging a sword, swinging a pickaxe. It's got some puzzle elements in there. So some of the islands you go to will have a building, and you go inside. There's some kind of puzzle that you have to solve, whether it's a riddle or manipulation of objects in there. So again, if you got Game Pass, check it out. And if you're like me, before long you're gonna realize, oh, it's 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, and I should have gone to bed a long time ago.
Yeah, I've really wanted to play that game. There was something that I read or saw that kind of I thought, maybe I don't, because I love the physical stuff, and they do have a physical copy for the Switch. I think it's like $30. I don't know if that you think that's a little too high, maybe, but is there co-op? Do you think it'd be something fun to do, with kids too?
I honestly don't know if there is co-op in the game. There may be, but
Okay.
yeah, I was just doing single player after my kids were in bed, and I think I would say for the most part it's a kid-friendly game. Um,
Okay.
yeah,
I
and
might
it's just kind of
check it out.
fun to just kind of go around and break stuff. The and even if you do die, because you have 3 hearts and you have limited stamina, um, if you die, it's not the end of the world. You can come back right where you were with all your stuff. Um, but again, you can craft things to bring back your stamina. So there are a lot of times I'll just be breaking things and my stamina is going down and down and down, and then I'll pause once it gets too low, and I'll eat fish or berries, bring it back up to full, and just kind of go at it again to collect the resources. There are some enemies there that will try to attack you, but there are also animals. So there are chickens and cows and sheep. If you go up to a chicken and, well, you can kill the chickens. I don't recommend you do that, but you can walk up to them and press the A button like you're going to activate, and they'll pop out a couple of eggs. Or
That's hilarious.
you can craft a bottle, and you can scoop up water, or you can go up to a cow and fill the bottle with milk. So you craft the bottle, go to the cow to get milk, take that jar of milk to craft cheese, to craft a pizza. So again, it's one thing after another.
That's cool.
It was a lot of fun. And again, the graphics just kind of it made everything pop. Great color contrasts, and the different islands. You had some that were just green and very lush, and then you had some desert islands. You had some that were wintry and iced over, some that were dark and spooky with tombstones. And you can break the tombstones like you break rocks, and there might be a skeleton that pops out after that, which you can then defeat to get other resources.
Okay. Well, that sounds pretty cool. Well, I have been playing a certain game. Yeah.
I saw that on the list.
Yeah. So, I guess you could say this is, I don't know if this would count as recommended by a friend. I mean, after Ryan knew that I got it, he definitely recommended it. But before that, I was listening to, there's a podcast called Backlog Breakdown. If you like backlogs and you like Christian theology, they talk about that stuff. And occasionally they have an episode called A Bite Size where they'll talk about maybe a certain game or something, and they have a guy on there. His name is Wes Henshin Dad. I guess the Henshin Dad, he has a podcast. I guess he is maybe into, what do they call him? Do they call him weebs? I don't know. He likes like Ultraman and Japanese things, right? So he was talking about Elite Beat Agents, or Owendon, which I had never played. The Elite Beat Agents. I had actually seen this cart at a local pawn shop, and I thought that game sounds familiar. I think that's kind of a popular game, but I didn't really know anything about it. And then so I listened to this episode, and I was kind of floored. I was like, okay, I need to try this out, because it's a rhythm game. So it's a rhythm game where you are essentially an agent. one of three agents, I guess, that you go to rescue or to cheer up someone who is in some kind of situation that needs a little bit of cheering up. And the scenarios can be very wacky, like a pug dog who finds himself, as his owner is playing basketball, finds himself on a back of a pickup truck, and it is driving 400 miles away. And so you have to cheer up the pug dog and help him get back to his owner. And by doing that, you're dancing. You're on the lower screen of the DS. You're doing this. Yes. As the audio listeners, I'm waving my arms back and forth. Os, I think is what they say. Anyways, but the so essentially what you're doing is you have circles on the bottom screen that you have to tap in rhythm with the song, and there's lots of different songs. Some of my favorites are September by Earth, Wind, and Fire. You have Canned Heat by Jamiroquai, which is made popular by Napoleon and his dancing moves. Also, is it You're the Inspiration by Chicago? So that was actually kind of a heartfelt, kind of a sad scene that happens. So in these people, I mean, it might be something silly. That one's kind of a tearjerker, kind of a sad deal. But in these scenarios, what you're doing is, if you're able to successfully, tap with the rhythm, then you're going to help this person out. You're cheering them on. This Elite Beat Agents is based on, or is the second game in a series of the Owen games that are popular in Japan. There was one that came out in Japan, and then Elite Beat Agents came out in the States, and then there was an Owen 2 that came out in Japan. So we didn't get those two. This is kind of like the one in the middle, right? But they chose English songs, and they changed the cheerleaders, because they're cheerleaders in Owen. They changed them from cheerleaders to agents, kind of like Men in Black, because cheerleaders in American culture are usually female. So apparently in Japanese culture, most of the cheerleaders are male, and it's like this, almost like a you're encouraging people to succeed. So I love this game. It has a wonderful comic book art style, and it's just so wacky. Like, these people get so upset in their situation that they have their eyes go white. Maybe I don't really know much about manga, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but their eyes go white and their teeth get all sharp, and they go, "Oh, and on," or whatever they say. They're screaming, right? And so then the sergeant, I'm gonna call him the sergeant, I don't know, but he's like, "Agents, go!" And so the agents come in, and they do that arm thing, and they dance, and they help people out. So if you can dance and help people out, that's a good thing. So I love this game so much. I was like, this is wacky. This is kind of like WarioWare. That's what it's like a WarioWare rhythm game, because it's just really wacky and just kind of bizarre, and in its humor, and so I went ahead and I bought Owen 1 and 2 off of eBay, and so from a guy in Japan, and I'm gonna get those maybe in a month or so, and I was like, I'm down. I'm buying them all, and I'm gonna check them out. So yeah, that was thank you for recommending that, Ryan, that you were like, yes, do this. What a cool game.
Yeah, when you told me last week that you got that, I was flipping out because it was so good. That was one of my favorite games that we had on the DS. And for some reason, I didn't want to play on one of the 3DSs that we had. I don't know why, but I wanted to play it. And then we lost the charger for the DS Lite. Like, I want to play this game. And fortunately, it does work on the new 2DS XL. So I was playing a little bit of that. I was like, this is so good. Now, did you clear the memory like I suggested?
I did, absolutely. So yeah, if anybody out there wants to pick this up, it's a relatively inexpensive game. You can get Elite Beat Agents like sealed, brand new for 25 on eBay. You can find it loose. I found it for $5. But what Ryan's saying is, yeah. So when you first started the game, you have to know to delete its save file because if not, it's just gonna launch you into the game. So when that you see the Nintendo words kind of come up, initially you want to hold all the face buttons, not start and select, but A, B, X, Y, and the two, what is it, L, anyways, the two
Shoulder buttons.
shoulder buttons, yeah. And you hold all those down, and it will say, hey, do you want to erase the save? And you say yes. So then you get to start out on easy and work your way up, which I will say easy. I was like, man, this is almost too easy. And then you get a couple songs in and you're like, okay, now it's really starting to get hairy. Man, I'm like, I don't know, maybe 10 songs in on easy. And I'm like, man, but you get better. It's one of those where you as you improve, you really see, wow, I guess like any puzzle or rhythm game, you really see an improvement in yourself if you keep after it. So it's fun. It's really fun and wacky, and my goodness, go get it if you haven't played it.
Yeah, just wait till you get to some of the higher difficulty levels. So I've got to one of the highest difficulty level, and even on the easy songs, it's just it's destroying me. Now, again, I haven't played in quite, but like you were saying, Jeremy, a lot of the songs, like these are songs that you either know or you're like, oh, that's what this song is. Like it's a song that you didn't know who did it or where it was from, but you know it because it's got like Skater Boy by Avril Lavigne. It's got a song by Madonna, Material Girl, and not all the songs are done by the original artist, but some of them are. But even the ones that aren't, they're still really good renditions, and it's so catchy. And when you have to replay the level, you don't really feel bad about it because you get to hear the song again. And with the cutscenes that are going on, so there are about 3 parts to every song, and so at the end of each part, you will know whether or not you were successful by what happens with the character that you're trying to help. So, like in one of them, there's a guy who's trying to break into a corporation, and he's trying to hide up against a wall with a blanket that looks like a wall,
Yes,
so the cops don't see him.
right.
And if you're successful, he's completely camouflaged, and you get the green check, like you did it. But sometimes he bungles it because you bungled and you didn't do what was right, and it falls off and he gets caught, and he gives you a big red X. And if you fail too much, or if you're I guess like goes through then the song. Yeah, if you guys have not played it, like you said, get it on a loose cart for under.
Yeah, it's so cool. Yeah, and this seller on eBay seems like a really nice guy. And I mean, I really wanted to buy more stuff, but I was like, okay, I need to dial it back. Shipping was a little high, but I mean, without shipping and tax, I mean, well, for both, I got it for about 50. So for 1 and 2, so I think that's decent with shipping and tax from Japan. So we'll see how that turns out. I know, right? And I had a little scratch. So we'll see how that goes. So I didn't bring him to my island, but I might after playing some more of these. So anyways, and next month I'll probably be playing some more of that. But Mike, are you what do you got on deck for next month?
Well, coming out this month on the Game Pass is a couple of games I'm really looking forward to jumping into. Number 1 is the brand new Battletoads game that Rare remade, or not remade, but is making. It's been highly anticipated. Looks like a Saturday morning cartoon. I'm really excited to jump into that. And then we've got the new Don't Nod game from the people who made Life is Strange. Tell me why. Episode 1 comes out later this month. So I'm looking forward to jumping into both of those. In addition to finishing up Quantum Break and the Talos.
Yeah, Battletoads, that's almost like, if that's really good, I mean, that might, I mean, I'm still waffling on PS4 or Xbox One, once the new generation starts, and apparently Xbox is not making, which I thought was a little strange, but I guess maybe they're gonna do it with or fill it in with their lesser Xbox Series X, or I'm sorry, Series S, or whatever they're gonna call it. But they're not making the Xbox One X anymore, like manufacturing it. So you're only going to be able to get the Xbox One S in the future moving forward. So, but I might pick up one of those, because one of those with Game Pass, I mean, playing Battletoads, you're right. I have to see how the speeder bike level is. Is it easy? If it is, I mean, it might be a sale for me. I don't know. I love the idea of Battletoads. I love the first level of the original Battletoads. I mean, the perspective of the boss, where you're actually you are looking as if you were the boss, and you're throwing the objects at the boss. Anyways, and then I really even like the tunnel, or the dropping down on the strings with the, I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah,
Battletoads is great.
it looks like they're
Oh,
bringing all of that back and then some to the new Battletoads game. So I'll let you know in
okay.
about a month
There
how
you go.
that went.
Ryan, what do you got on your next month to-do
Well,
list?
first I want to thank Mike for putting that new Battletoads game on your list for the next month, because I saw it, I got excited, then I forgot. So thank you for reminding me about that, because I do want to check that out, because I had that game as a kid, and a lot of people have complained about the speeder bike level, but that really wasn't the level that gave me issues. Like, I guess I got that down without a problem, but I didn't get too much further after level 3 after that. Like, I discovered a few, warps here and there, but yeah, I don't know.
That's a little
We'll,
bit of
we'll,
a
we'll see about that
flex.
one.
That's
But
a little bit of a flex there, Ryan. That's a
hey, teenage me had better reflexes back then. All right, like, I memorized the pattern, and it was okay.
all right. Fair.
Challenging, but so one of the games I tried a little bit of this past month was Link's Awakening. A friend of mine let me borrow that in lieu of me letting him borrow Octopath Traveler. So I've been holding on to his game for about 6 months before I finally decided to play it. It was really good. So I would like to get a bit more into that. I've gotten through the first 2 or 3 levels, 2 or 3 dungeons in the game, and really liked what I played so far. I'd like to keep playing that. And I would like to go back to Dragon Quest XI to try to finish up some of the side quests, some of the parts in the 2D world with the toggles. If you play the game, you know what I'm talking about. But there's like a like it's forced to be like this 2D 16-bit style town, and I've got different throwbacks to the older Dragon Quest games. I just kind of want to finish that up, and maybe have a good conversation with one of our adopted backloggers, Hungry Pup, about that, because I know that he played, and I think he stopped after the second act, and I was encouraging him through Twitter to finish the game, because even though you kind of roll credits after the second act, there's still more stuff that pertains to the story. So yeah, that's finish Gree or play more Forger. We'll see. I keep saying what I'm going to be playing next month, and then never play this stuff. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, myself, I'm gonna continue with Elite Beat Agents. Probably, I mean, I'm not gonna be on expert mode, but at least I want to get through all the songs. I don't know if they have kind of a medium level. Maybe I can get through like normal. And then another game that I picked up was NBA Jam on Fire edition for the Wii, and I started a campaign in that. You can pick a team and go through kind of a season and play all the teams. So I started doing that the other day, and that was pretty fun.
What team? We need to know.
Chicago Bulls. I mean, back in the 90s, I was a really big Michael Jordan fan. Kind of like moving to the new house, I pulled out like all my gear and my things, including like Chicago Tribunes from when they won each championship, championship hats from that I ordered from QVC, I believe, or had my parents order from QVC when so I could have the hat that Mike wore, and Space Jam figures, lots and lots of basketball cards. I even have this weird picture of myself and Michael Jordan, not together, but like where he was like resting his head on the championship trophy, and I had my head on the other side of the trophy, because I felt like I had a little bit of part of that. So yeah, was a big fan. What can I say? Be like Mike, I drank the Kool-Aid, or the Gatorade, I should say.
Yeah, but you don't actually get to play as Michael Jordan in the On Fire edition, though, right?
No, it's like early 2000s, so it's like Derrick Rose and Boozer. I can't remember his first name. Carlos, yeah. And then, I hate. I don't hate him. That's a strong word. There's the guy. I just don't like him. He's on the Bulls on that one. Anyways, he's fine. I just don't think I really.
He doesn't have a name?
No, he has a name. I just can't remember it. The player that shall not be named. I'll look it up later. It just I don't know why. I think anyways, I'd have to look it up. What is it? Anyways, it'll come to me later on when we're talking about something totally different. But yeah, so Tony Kukoc, man. No, it's not Tony Kukoc. If I could play as Tony Kukoc, Bill Winnington, Luke Longley, Steve Kerr, yeah, B.J. Armstrong, anybody, I mean, give me Paxton. I mean, Horace Grant. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Bill Winnington was one of my favorite of the three-headed monster, because Bill Winnington could make about a 15-foot jumper from the baseline, and that was the only shot he could make. And that's the shot I could make, and I could make one of them, and that's what he made. So I felt like me and Bill Winnington were pretty tight. So anyways, if you're listening to this, reach out to Trash Turkey. Maybe you can autograph a card for me or something. So, anyways, so we're going to do that. And then we're going to talk about some questions. We got some community questions. So let's see. We got some questions. Okay. Octo Taco 1.
Big fan of the show.
Big fan of the show. Thank you. Thank you, Miss Taco. Is it I don't know how to. Is it taco? Can you say it like taco, or is it what? Is there a different pronunciation? Yeah. I don't know.
I think this is the wrong episode to ask that question.
Okay.
Honestly, I think we should wait until Patrick's here. He might know.
Yeah, he might know. I don't. I just don't want to mess it up. Ask, what is a game you were fully expected not to like at all, and ended up enjoying once you gave it a chance? Also, if you were an ice cream flavor, which flavor would you be? Mike?
All right. Ice cream first. If I were ice cream, I would be shake base. Not even vanilla flavored, shake base. So I can be anything if you mix it with me. But on my own, I'm incredibly bland. Shake base.
Shake base? That's
Yes.
not like shake and bake, and I helped, right? It's not like the breading Because that would be really gross ice cream.
So there's no breading in it, but it's just like plain ice cream. It doesn't even have vanilla flavoring. So it's when I worked at Steak and Shake, that's what we would use to make all the shakes. We had to add vanilla syrup to make a vanilla shake. It's just
Interesting.
just plain.
Wow.
Tastes-
So I'm learning more. I mean, I'm a pretty big ice cream guy. I didn't know that was a thing. Thank you, Mike. It means though that you can kind of be different things on different days, right? You want to throw some M&Ms in there. You want to throw Oreos in there. You want to throw a little fudge swirl, whatever kind of day it is, Mike, you're going to be ready for that day. I like it.
Always the optimist. And as far as the other half of this question, the game that I went in fully expecting to dislike, but actually ended up really enjoying, was a game called Gleaner Heights. Now, this is a farming simulator with a twist. The twist is that everybody in the town has a dark, sordid past, and there's like this overarching story and reasoning for a lot of the bad things that are happening in town. And you can completely miss it if all you do is focus on the farming aspect. You can do that, but if you get invested in the town, you learn all of these frankly awful things that these townspeople are actually doing. It deals with domestic assaults and demon possession and inappropriate pictures, and like all of these things can be discovered in this town. Yeah, I knew some of that going in, but I didn't realize the depth of what it was. But all that being said, that wasn't the part that captured me. I was actually captured by the farming stuff, which I never expected to be captivated by. Because I looked at games like Harvest Moon and Stardew Valley and said, that can't possibly be engaging. How could that be fun? Yeah, there's just something satisfying about this gameplay loop where you go, you do work, water the plants, you plant them, come back the next day, there's more plants. You get more money, repeat, everything gets better. I don't know. It's a cycle, and I'm going to call it a bicycle or a bicycle, and it's fun to ride.
Yeah, I like this. That's a good one.
You don't get a bicycle in the game. You actually get a horse. It's similar to a bicycle. So
yeah, horses are pretty much just the original bicycle. Is I think what they were derived from.
Yeah, they were reverse engineered from bicycles.
Ryan? Yeah? No? Ice cream?
Oh, ice cream. Well, I'm going to be just a little less bland than Mike and say all natural vanilla. I know it sounds kind of boring, but if you looked at me, you would say, oh, yep, he's a vanilla guy. But part of that, kind of going what you were saying, Mike, is, I may be vanilla, but take an Oreo, crush it up, put it in me, you got cookies and cream. Or if you don't like Oreos, why don't you take some Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, crush those up, put them in me. Now you love me. Or maybe you have a brownie, hot, warm, gooey brownie, put some vanilla ice cream on it. Yeah, you love me. So that's what I'm gonna say. and now I really want some ice cream now because I made brownies yesterday, and a scoop of ice cream would be great on top of that. As for the game question, though, that's a tough because I don't think I've gone into a game expecting not to like it, like at all, and still playing it. Typically, if there's a game that I feel like I'm not going to like, then I'm just going to stay away from it. And especially back when I was younger, I wouldn't buy that I didn't really, that I had no interest in. I had to like really, really want the game. So most of my tales are stories about games that I thought I was really, really, and then I was just incredibly disappointed in them. But I guess something that's as close as it'll get to that is I rented SSX Tricky on the GameCube. I didn't really know anything about it. This was back in 2001, and Blockbuster had this deal that you for like 20 or $25, you could rent a video game every day, like one rental a day. I figured, well, video game rentals are $2 or $3 a piece. There's one that's a mile from my apartment. I'll go check that out. And so I rented a bunch of GameCube games and Nintendo 64 games. And one of the ones I rented was SSX Tricky, and played it, and just instantly fell in love with it to the point that I took the game back to Blockbuster and went out and bought the game. It was that good. If you've never played SSX Tricky, you're doing yourself a disservice. It's just a great snowboard racing trick game, and especially with Tricky, you've got the constant beat of Run DMC's Tricky when you're playing it, especially when you do great tricks and great combos, and the volume ramps up, and it just goes, it's Tricky. It's masterpiece. Love it.
Ice cream, for me, I think there's a brand of ice cream called Turkey Hill, which I've probably posted on Twitter. And there's also turkeys you can get at Baskin Robbins. I believe you can get a turkey ice cream cake around Thanksgiving time. So if you want to treat your family with something like that, that's always exciting. As far as a flavor, I think maybe I would be strawberry, just because to me strawberry is an ice cream where you're like, I don't know about strawberry. Okay. And then you have it and you're like, that's not bad. Strawberry ice cream's pretty good. So maybe, like, I don't know about that guy. A little suspect. And then you're like, well, he's not all that bad. So maybe strawberry ice cream. And then as far as a game, I agree. This is kind of a tough one. I haven't thought a whole lot about it, but one I can think of is Minecraft. I did not really think that I would enjoy Minecraft. Kids playing it, I was like, this is oddly relaxing, just kind of building random things with my kids and just kind of, hanging out. And because we never really played the survival stuff, but just creating it was pretty chill, pretty nice. Kind of like what you were saying, Ryan, as far as a game that I didn't know that I would really like, and also referencing back to Rare Replay, Blast Core. That game, I remember renting that Blast Core on the NES, or I'm sorry, blah blah blah. Nope, that was Shake, Rattle, and Roll. Blast Core on the N64, Rare, and that game was awesome. Have you guys played Blast Core on the N64?
I did. I played the original on the N64, and I played it again when I got Rare Replay, shortly after I picked up my Xbox One.
How does it hold up? Because that's one of those games that I would almost buy an Xbox again just to play that game.
Well, do you remember, I don't know, maybe an hour ago, when we were talking about how early 3D games don't really hold up? Early 3D games don't hold up.
Okay. All right. Well,
it's not awful, but it's not as good as you remember.
Okay.
I'll put it that way.
Okay. Yeah, that would be one that it's like maybe we need to remaster that one, because maybe going back to the original just isn't what I would think. But yeah, Minecraft is something that I was like, the kids with their blocks. When I was a kid, I used to play with wooden blocks and Legos. Guys, I think that's our episode. I don't think we have any more questions. You guys have anything else you want to talk about this evening? Anything you want to get out on the table? And anything else?
No, I think
Yeah, I'm
we
good.
covered. I think we covered everything.
Well,
I
well,
feel
all
good
right.
about this, and I hope our listeners do too.
Yeah. Hope everyone enjoyed it. And I guess we can go around and tell everyone where we can find each other on the interwebs. I'll speak for our gentlemen that weren't able to make it tonight. So Patrick, Mr. at Backlog Odyssey on Twitter, he wasn't able to make it, but you can find him at Backlog Odyssey on Twitter, and also the www.backlog.odyssey.com. I believe it's .com. Is it .com? Is he .net or org? Probably not org.
No, he's .com.
.ninja? No, that's the Backlog Busters.
Well, I think he would prefer to be .ca, but I think he's .com.
Okay, excellent. Go check out Patrick's stuff. I think he just posted a thing on review of maybe Rune Factory with Octo Taco, I believe, maybe Rune Factory 4, possibly. I don't know, but that was something I was actually interested in asking him about, because I think I talked to you, Ryan, about this. I don't like dating in games. I was wondering, can you like not date anybody in that Rune Factory game? Can you just plant your plants and mash your monsters? I don't know. So.
Hey, Backloggers. My ears were burning, so I had to give you one last call to let you know that Rune Factory 4 doesn't require dating. You can mash those monsters all you want. Oh no, guys. Have to be quiet because the turkey patrol is still going around. Oh no, they're here! Quickly! Quickly! Throw the cranberry sauce and gravy at them! They're gonna get me!
Surge is not here either. Ryan did a bang up job impersonating him, but sadly he was not able to make it either. And you know where to find him on Twitter. He's always posting the fun things. Usually the fun things. And Ryan, where can we find you?
You can find me pretty much anywhere. Twitter, the YouTubes, Twitch, at Mathman1024. So if you see a Mathman1024,
then it's you. Now, Mike, where are you on the internet?
Well, aside from this glorious podcast, you can also find me exclusively on Twitter at BlazeKnight0923, where I retweet things and speak shenaniganery to the highest extent.
Wonderful. I look forward to that. And I am the Trash Turkey. You can find me on the internet, on Twitter, as the Trash Turkey. I don't think there's any other Trash Turkeys out there. I mean, I've been looking for some. There's probably an island full of them that I need to find. But also, I just want to let you guys know that Hungry Pup, who Ryan earlier mentioned, his podcast is actually a part of our feed now. Also, Patrick has been doing an awesome job putting up some retro talks on our feed as well, and last one on Conquer, I believe. So look forward to more of that stuff, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, and keep on keeping on with those backlogs. Add to them, play them, whatever you want to do. It's all good.
remember, we like big backlogs and we cannot lie. Those other gamers can't deny. The winner sale walks in with a really low price. Sorry.
Oh, that's marvelous.